What if being a fan meant more than just cheering from the sidelines or wearing the jersey? What if you could actually own a piece of your favorite team? Today, we're diving into a new model that might just make that possible.
I mean, seriously, think about it. Have you ever been so deep into a game, so invested that you just felt like this is my team? What if you could turn that feeling into a real, actual stake in the club's future?
Well, that dream is getting closer to reality. And honestly, it's popping up because of a huge problem in the sports world. Running a professional sports team today, it's a massive business, but the costs are just through the roof. We're talking insane amounts for top players, brand new facilities, and expanding the team's reach.
So, to really get why this new idea is so powerful, we first got to understand the challenge teams are facing. Let's dig into the financial side of things in our first section, sports' big money problem.
You see, for years, teams have raised money the old-fashioned way. Think big corporate sponsorships or getting loans from a bank. But those methods have some serious drawbacks. They're usually tied to physical things, tangible assets like a stadium, which a lot of teams don't even own. And most importantly, this old way of doing things completely ignores a team's biggest asset, the incredible passion of its fans.
And that's where things start to get really interesting. This brings us to Section 2, turning fans into owners. What if you could actually harness all that fan energy and turn it into real financial fuel for the team?
Well, a company called FracMyTeam is doing just that. They're pushing this new model that basically says, instead of just selling you another hat or t-shirt, what if we could sell you a genuine piece of the team itself?
So what exactly is fractional ownership? Look, it's not about owning a brick from the stadium. We're talking about something much cooler. It's about owning a piece of the team's intangible value. Its brand, those huge player contracts, the TV deals, all the stuff that truly makes a club valuable. It's monetizing the very heart and soul of the team.
And here's the part that really blows my mind, the price point. This isn't just a game for billionaires anymore. With a starting price of just $100 for a digital share, this model completely opens the door for fans all over the world to get a seat at the owner's table.
Okay, I know, it sounds like a fantastic idea, but how does it actually work, right? How do you take something like brand value and turn it into a thing you can buy and sell? Let's get into the nitty-gritty in Section 3. It really just boils down to a three-step process. First, you value the team's intangible assets to get a solid real-world number. Second, you tokenize a slice of that value up to 49% and turn it into digital shares. And third, fans can then trade those shares, which, and this is the genius part, creates a constant stream of revenue for the team. Now that first step, the valuation, is absolutely crucial. It's all based on something called net asset value, or NAV. That's just a fancy term for a formal calculation of all those intangibles we talked about, minus any debts the team has. And to make sure this isn't just some number pulled out of thin air, it's all verified by big-time independent auditors using internationally recognized accounting standards. So it's legit.
To give you a sense of the scale here, let's just run some quick numbers. Say you have a team valued at $1.1 billion. If they tokenize 49% of that, they could create 4.9 million shares, selling each one for $100. You do the math, that's a massive injection of cash right up front.
But here's the real game changer. It's not just about that initial sale. It's about what happens next. Every time a fan sells their share to another fan, the team gets a cut, a royalty on every single trade. The model in the source material suggests $1 per trade, paid to the team forever. It literally turns fan trading activity into a perpetual income stream for the club.
All right, so I know what you're probably thinking. Hey, I've heard of fan tokens. Isn't this just the same thing? Or maybe, is this just another way to bet on sports? Good questions. Let's tackle that in our final section. Real ownership or new hype?
Let's be super clear about the differences. Fan tokens are usually about perks, like voting on the team's new jersey. And betting is, well, it's just a gamble on a single game's outcome. This is different. The asset is tied to the team's audited, real-world value. That means the fan's role shifts from being a club member or a gambler to being a true economic owner. And for the team, it's not a one-and-done sale. It's that killer combo of upfront cash and those forever royalties. So the main thing to remember here is the push for legitimacy. This whole thing is backed by real, audited assets. It's being built from the ground up to follow financial regulations. The source material even compares it to a REIT, a real estate investment trust, which is a totally normal way for regular people to invest in big-time property. This isn't a collectible. It's being presented as a serious financial tool. Which brings us to the big final question.
If you, as a fan, can have a real economic stake in your team's success, where a championship win could actually make your share more valuable, does that change everything? Does it transform just cheering into a true partnership? Now that's something worth thinking about.